Fed that are trying to stop him, that have tried to stop him, and they're still there. Now, if we go back a little bit in time here, when Trump was elected, and this is coming out of the Gateway Pundit, they broke it down, and you can see exactly how the Fed, those bad guys within the Fed, how they were trying to stop Trump and the Patriots from allowing the economy to grow. They wanted it to crash. They wanted the whole thing to implode so they could blame it on Trump. Now, when you look back in time, and you look back when Trump came into office, you can see the Fed rate, and you can see the Dow. Now, as the Fed continually raised rates, now remember, in the beginning, you don't see it. In the beginning, when you're raising the rates, you don't see the effect until it hits a certain tipping point. And when you look at this, you can see the Fed was raising the rate, the Fed was raising the rate, the Fed was raising the rate. And then we never got to that. So when you look at this, you can see the Fed rate is moving up and the market is still moving up from 2016 going into 2017, going into 2018. It started to slow a little bit in 2017 going into 2018 because the Fed continually raised rates. And then all of a sudden, Trump and the Patriots said, enough's enough. We caught on to what you're trying to do here. Now we understand, we have the magic wand, and we're going to put a freeze on the rates. Now, what's very interesting is that Trump and the Patriots, they froze the rates in 2019. In 2018, in November, around that time period, the market started to come down. And it fell during the holiday season. And then it was pumped back up. But as you can see, the market was much, much lower at this point. In 2019, Trump, the Patriots, they froze the rates. And the market kind of leveled off. Didn't really move. Then Trump said, okay, now we're going to start dropping the rates. And we had 1 rate cut, 2 rate cut, 3 rate cut, and you can see the market start to move up. And now you can see it clearly when you look back in time. So the bad guys, what they were trying to do is they were trying to bring down the system. Now, once again, we see the mainstream media out there. We see the bad individuals within the Federal Reserve where they're saying there's going to be no more rate cuts. They're trying to do the same thing again. But we need to understand is that Trump and the Patriots, they control the system. They control the magic wand. They're calling the shots. This is why Trump had Powell visit him in the White House. And I do believe that Powell somehow, some way, is working with Trump. I believe he's a good guy. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But for some reason, my gut is telling me that he is a good guy. And he's working with Trump against those in the Federal Reserve. And this is why Powell comes out and all of a sudden he says, you know something? We're going to freeze rates. We're going to lower rates. Even though the mainstream media and all the other Fed heads were out there saying that, oh, the economy's strong, there's no reason to do this. But Powell seems to go against those other individuals. Now, we know that Europe is a complete mess. And the central banks, they are now purchasing gold in Germany, Netherlands, Austria, Hungary, Turkey, and the rest. They're repatriating their gold from the Bank of England. They're repatriating their gold from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And the reason why they're doing this is because they understand that the fiat system is dying. Now, remember when Q told us that gold is going to destroy the Fed? If all these central banks are purchasing gold, and they continually purchase gold because they know the fiat system is dying, gold then will look like the best asset to own. So if all the countries and all their central banks, they're purchasing gold, and these countries have gold, and if most of the countries around the world have gold, and the fiat system dies, what destroys the private Western central bank system? It is gold. Now, if Trump and the Patriots and other patriots point out that the fiat system is not a system that benefits the people, that sound money is the system, already we have all these countries that already have the gold. So gold then destroys the central bank system. Gold then destroys the Fed. And we can see that we're heading down this road. Now, very interestingly, in the beginning, we talked about how Trump is using China and this trade deal not just to trap the central bank, but to shake the central bank, the globalist system, to its core and destroy it in the end. Now, something is shaping up in the political background around the USMCA, and it revolves around this, which is very interesting. This is coming out of the conservative treehouse. The Mexican president, and we'll just use his initials, AMLO, A-M-L-O, sent a second letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi urging the USMCA ratification. Now, Team Trump and Team AMLO, I do believe they're working together against Pelosi and others. AMLO has been saying the labor provisions within the USMCA trade pact are already being put in place by Mexico, and Pelosi should quit trying to hide behind labor concerns to avoid ratification. Now, most likely, to put pressure on Pelosi, Trump has informed AMLO that Pelosi is trying to kill any USMCA pact simply because she's attempting to derail the U.S. economy for maximum 2020 political benefit. Now, of course, we know this is exactly what she's trying to do. Now, this $44 billion investment package is why AMLO has been willing to assist the Trump administration on border security. President Trump has leveraged major economic benefit to Mexico because in the larger picture, the USMCA, in combination with prior Asian agreements, is the economic breach that drains China. Now, to receive the benefits, Mexico has to be a stable partner on a geopolitical issues including immigration, border security, internal corruption, and dealing with drug cartels. Drug cartels. Didn't we just hear about this from Trump, where he's designated them a terrorist organization? We'll be talking about that in the next report. Now, if all goes according to plan, the plan that Trump and AMLO have, this will give Wall Street's U.S. investment in China an alternative in Mexico. And that's the cornerstone that allows Trump to begin a more consequential decoupling with Beijing. Phase 1 of the U.S.-China deal, if cemented, will be the only phase. And that phase, that objective, is simply constructed to fill the purchase void for the U.S. agricultural sector. China opens the financial sector and makes AG purchases, agricultural purchases, in exchange. POTUS then stalls further with tariffs on designated sectors that touch upon Phase 1 agreements. Now, Trump, he is really moving to destroy the globalist system. This is bigger than originally thought. If this all comes together, this plan is absolutely brilliant. And this will shake the central bank, the globalist system, to its core. If the landscape ends where the compass is heading, there isn't going to be a multi-sector, manufacturing, IP, big tech, etc., Phase 2 or Phase 3 deal in the U.S.-China future. Instead, there will be a decoupling of the U.S.-China relationship in direct proportion to the opportunity opened within the U.S.-Mexico alliance. Who depends on China? Who depends on the U.S. funds from China? Europe. This is all how their globalist system works. If Trump decouples from China and shifts everything to Canada and Mexico with this new USMCA deal and breaks away from the manufacturers in China, Europe falls apart. The globalist system falls apart. And Trump then creates a new system in the Americas. Think about what he's doing here. He's preparing to go all out and destroy the globalist system. This is why when he was at the UN, he was saying that the globalist system, the globalists, do not have a future. Timing is everything. As you can see, Trump, the Patriots, they are moving forward to remove the central bank and the globalist system. And these tariffs are moving corporations out of China. That is the biggest thing. Now, yes, he would like a lot more to come here to the United States, but he knows he's already made deals with other countries where these companies are moving into, and they're going to be part of this new system. The plan is coming together. And if all goes according to plan, the central bankers, the globalists, they're doomed. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Hi, it's Mike Maloney, and I'm back with an interview with Ronnie Stofferle from Austria, and his company, Incrementum, is located in Liechtenstein, and they have this annual gold report called In Gold We Trust, and it's one of the most comprehensive reports you're ever going to see out there. The thing that we've been covering is the chart book that goes along with the reports, so it's sort of an executive summary, a 30,000-foot overview of the whole gold market. And this section here begins with a table. And Ronnie, normally I hate tables because to me it's like looking at wallpaper, but this one is done in red and green. You know, I've been told by somebody that's red-green colorblind, or they call themselves red-green challenged, that it's not a good idea to just use red and green because it all looks gray to them. But to me, this is a fascinating table, and I normally hate tables. But this one, the amount of green on it just shows that for this entire century, gold has just been the number one performing asset worldwide, with the exception of some cryptocurrencies. But other than some cryptocurrencies, gold has been where it's at, and for some reason, people that hold stocks just don't get it. What's your comment on this table?
Well, for us, it's important to analyze gold not only in dollar terms, but to make an interpretation of the strength of a bull market. I think it's important to have a look at gold in many different fiat currencies. And actually, many people tend to forget that in euro terms, but also in Aussie dollars, in Canadian dollars, and I think in 50 other currencies, gold is actually trading at the moment at or very close to all-time highs. For people over here in Europe, the euro price of gold is much more important than the US dollar price. But everybody is just staring at the dollar price of gold. Now, we have seen that this bull market in gold already developed in most currencies much earlier. And now we have seen this breakout also in dollar terms. And now people are finally waking up. And I think this kind of divergence between price action that is extremely positive and sentiment that is still kind of muted and bearish, that's a very, very good sign. And that makes me confident that this party is really just getting started.
Yeah, you're showing in this table the annual gains year by year from 2001 to 2019 year to date. And you've got the euro, the US dollar, the British pound, the Aussie dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc and the Indian rupee. And then